I was a bit hesitant to cover this at all, and frankly still am. Through Edwin's videos alone, there's hours of footage to go through and potentially make notes of. So I was pleased to see someone had decided to essentially watch the videos and break it down in the form of a blog post. That post, which has been reposted by Edwin himself, will be the basis of this video and expanded from there when necessary. But why would I even cover this at all? Due to following Edwin on Twitter after his Mars Argo video, this whole thing has been flooding my Twitter feed for the past however long, and as someone who hasn't delved into any of the creators' collections of videos, I felt that maybe an outsider's view could be worthwhile. If you're a fan of any of the parties involved, you might be quick to jump to any one person's defense. You might be mistaken for thinking that this has just recently happened, but the first video indicating things went sour was posted on the Edwin and Mina channel on April 17, 2017. This is where the blog post that contains the breakdown of events comes into place. What is meant to have happened. There will be a link below to the article, by the way. Cyr and Dasha fly Mina from London to LA, where they convince her to enter a polyamorous relationship with them. Dasha takes on Mina's complete style, dressing identical to her to present them as near twins. Here's a photo of both Dasha and Mina side by side. While having Mina at their place, Dasha helps herself to Mina's phone while it's left unattended and sends herself Mina's photos, which include explicit photos of Mina, and also deletes Mina's Instagram account while she has access to her phone. This is simply not on and a betrayal of trust. Dasha brags to Cyr and Edwin, who is Cyr's best friend and roommate at the time, that she has deleted Mina's account. Edwin ends up telling Mina. In this case, Edwin did the right thing. Mina had the right to know. Dasha finds out Edwin has told Mina what she's done, and Cyr kicks him and Mina out of the apartment. It sounds as if Dasha got Cyr to keep both Mina and Edwin out. I can imagine it would have been a hostile environment if this wasn't done. This breakdown implies that Cyr and Dasha owned the property. So although seemingly unfair, they were within their rights. Edwin and Mina leave and Cyr changes the locks to prevent them from re-entering, holding what's left of their property hostage. This isn't specific. If they weren't given a chance to take their belongings with them, then that's a bit rough. Other reasons could include keeping their property as a way to make sure they stayed in contact. Or maybe Cyr was worried that if they had a chance to get their things, that they might be able to find or take something that could land him in trouble. The time frame for the time in between kicking out and changing locks isn't made clear in this blog. Once the two are out of the apartment, Dasha and her fan accounts post pictures of Mina to criticize her looks and go on social media to taunt Edwin after having kicked him out. This seems purely like an intimidation tactic, or to make them feel weak or vulnerable and maybe have them crawl back. Cyr uses his bigger YouTube friends to join in on harassing Edwin on social media. Another intimidation tactic, although Edwin has seemingly done the same in recent times to try and bring more awareness to what's been happening. I'd like to clarify, Edwin hasn't been using other YouTubers for harassment of Cyr, just tagging bigger YouTubers in posts and trying to bring more awareness to the situation as a whole. Dasha spreads the word to other Instagram models and agencies that Mina should not be associated with so that nobody will work with her. Just plain cruel. Just because someone has more followers doesn't make them a better person. I'm not sure, but I think at this time there were videos about the events in some detail, so agencies could have done some minor research and found out the whole story if they wanted. Dasha takes it a step further and makes over 100 hate posts on a hate forum where she posts photos she had taken from Mina's phone, including Mina's passport with all of Mina's information on it and explicit images. The admin of the hate forum tracks the post to Dasha's IP. Doxing is not on. There's no if, buts or maybes. That is not okay. Edwin makes videos calling this out. It's never easy to say, well, this just should have been handled privately. I'm almost certain that this would have been attempted to be resolved privately, but sometimes you have to take matters into your own hands. And if Edwin saw fit to do this, then that's his right. If you're curious as to what these videos are, there will be a link below to the playlist Edwin made. In an effort to silence Edwin, Dasha and Cyr have their fans and friends false flag his videos to get his entire YouTube channel deleted so that he can no longer speak out on the ongoing harassment. I started writing this script last night and overnight more has happened. Someone claiming to be Mina has struck all of her videos with false copyright claims, and now she has to prove that she's really herself to the person who was claiming to be her that obviously actually isn't her. But back to the original post. There's examples that show this is true, that Dasha and Cyr have sent voice messages to others and supposedly, according to the message, taught them how to write a report so that YouTube will notice or something like that. I do think it was only Dasha, but yeah. From what I could find, Cyr hasn't publicly addressed this on Instagram, Twitter or YouTube, and both of Dasha's Instagram accounts I've found are private, so it can't be said if she said anything publicly based on that either. It can be seen as an issue that the only thing to go on right now is Edwin's evidence. I'm not saying he's wrong, but we don't know if anything has been left out or not. I wouldn't be surprised if what Edwin said is completely correct, for example, but the fact is we don't really have both sides of the story, and as you know, there's two sides to each story. Is keeping silent and mass flagging videos an admission of guilt? Depends on how you look at it. I feel a bit inclined to say, let's see what they have to say. There is apparently a big video being made. Whether or not that's true remains to be seen, although I get the feeling they won't publicly address it, Dasha and Cyr, that is. They are attempting to silence the negativity that's being thrown at them, which, if the mass flagging worked, for example, would be a bit strange. You'd think they'd make reference to certain points Edwin has made, but if mass flagging gets the videos taken down, then their reference points or potential references to points in Edwin's videos won't make sense. So that's why I don't think they're going to address it. Another unfortunate part of this is YouTube's response, or more so, their system. They seem to have a thing that essentially seems to come across as we got X amount of reports on said video, it must be bad. You can see how this could be helpful, but when people false flag and abuse this system, it gets messy. But honestly, YouTube doesn't have the staff to stop this. I think they're just trying to do the right thing, although we know that it's not the right thing. There's always going to be people who will blindly support others, and trying to convince someone that they should be on your side isn't the way to go. Present your evidence, let others present theirs, and then if people want to take sides, then let them. I would like to state that in the blog post that was shared and supported by Edwin, at least, it seems as if the damage started out as being done to Mina, and he stated in his most recent video that the bulk of the damage was done to Mina. According to the breakdown, the only things that were done to Edwin to start with were him being kicked out for telling Mina what happened, and regardless of the fairness of that, he was then taunted for being kicked out. I'm not sure the extent of this. Potentially Cyr thought he snitched. Who knows? But in the recent videos, and I'd say pretty well every video on this topic, Edwin is talking about someone else's experiences too. But regardless, it seems like Edwin's partly dragged himself into this to some degree, or at least from an outsider's view. The photos were shared of Mina, revenge porn, passport photos and such. I do think that given what's been presented, something should be done, but that the only reason Edwin is doing this is because it brings more exposure to what's happened than it would if Mina did it, purely based on subs and online followings. Although you are well within your right to think, and I do also think, that Edwin handling this is him being a nice boyfriend, although it could come across as him presenting Mina as inadequate to deal with this, which may be true. Hopefully it's not, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was. And that's where it kind of gets messy. Anyway, I hope this all ends up with the right result happening, and I truly believe Edwin and Mina just want their side of the story out there, which is fair enough. I would too. I hope this video isn't too messy. And makes some sense. As you know, I'm not trying to take sides. And also, as you know, this is just my opinion.